to play no games, but for you I laid my ace. I give in.
With authenticity and integrity, Caly Bevier is the embodiment of unconditional love. As an advocate for acceptance, as opposed to judgment, she leads by example, reflecting the light she sees in others. Her own journey of identity and preference she openly shares with confidence, in hopes of inspiring self-love and self-worth in others. As a recording artist, her music is a labor of love, fueled by emotion and driven by a dedication to serve others through storytelling.
Let's start our conversation today with a song and move to its story. Caly, let's begin with your song, Not the Same. Not only is it hella fun to move to, it's also a power statement for the one who's singing it. Specifically, I'm referring to the lines, "I'm not the one to blame. This time I walk away." In relationships and life in general, many assign blame to themselves and stay in a situation. However, the blame isn't theirs to own. In fact, they should be walking away. They should be going. Please share the story behind this song, Not the Same.
I wanted to share a story kind of about just a relationship that no longer serves you. And I think in a lot of relationships, it is very easy to blame yourself. As you said, it's very easy to blame yourself. And at the end of the day, you're in control of your emotions, you're in control of your choices, your feelings, all of that. That's your responsibility. But leaving a relationship that is no longer serving you or no longer making you feel good, that's what you shouldn't be putting blame on yourself for. It's okay if you want to leave a relationship that, you simply just don't want to be in anymore. You don't have to have some crazy reason for it. But that was kind of the whole point of this song, is like, I'm not feeling good in this relationship anymore. And so, I'm not the one to blame. I'm going to walk away. That's it. So that was pretty much what that was about. Yeah.
Yeah. And isn't it interesting that it's something that's so simple. It should be so easy, and yet it's not. So the fact that you're just calling it out like it is awesome. For a moment, I'd like to talk about the title of the song, Not the Same. No love is the same. While love is love, there are infinite versions in countless stories. Now, when it comes to the love of your life, please share the story of you and Sean.
Okay, cool. So, let's see, my whole life growing up, I always was like, I'm never gonna get married, never gonna, I just had no clue of what I would want in my future. And then Sean came around and I was like, oh shoot, I actually think I could have a little bit of love in my future. So I guess it started off as one of my best friends. She kept texting me. She's like, let's hang out. And I was just in a very kind of weird place where I was just ghosting everyone. And I answered at, I guess, the perfect moment. I was like, okay, let's go hang out. She's like, oh, I have someone I want to introduce you to as well. So I was like, okay. It was actually Sam at the time, Sean, and Sam and Allié came and they picked me up. Allié's my friend who introduced us. And we were inseparable from day one, a little shy at the beginning. We saw each other. I think we both thought we each other. I think he thought I was cute. And then kind of the whole day, literally the first day we met, we ended up holding hands, just kind of awkward. And we were in Santa Monica just walking around. And then I stayed the night at his place. And we were attached at the hip from the very beginning. I would say our story is a little unique because I did start dating Sean as Sam, and then he started transitioning about, I would say, very quickly into us kind of getting to know each other, meeting, dating. And he was just like, hey, I do want to transition. I feel a guy and whatnot. And I was like, okay, let's go. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. I didn't necessarily start liking you because of your gender, who you were identifying as, I identify as pansexual. So that was something that was very easy for me to just be like, okay, let's go. And I want you to be happy. And so that was the beginning of our love story, and we got married July 17th of 2020. So it was like mid-pandemic. We had a wedding in my parents' side yard. We kind of just set everything up. We even built the altar and everything. Very DIY, and it's been fun. I mean, has it been easy? No, not at all. But our relationship has taught me so much, and I think we have both grown so much. I mean, even just with communication, just little things like that. It's like, I don't know. I've learned a lot, and I don't know. I love our relationship, and yeah.
That is awesome. That is so awesome. My cheeks are hurting just like smiling about your love. So when it comes to love, or actually anything in our society insists on assigning a label. When it comes to transgender, I've heard so many say, I don't understand it. This in turn leaves so many who aren't transgender feeling that they are exactly that, not understood by others. So all that said, is there a need to be, for someone who's transgender, is there a need to be understood, or is it more a need to be accepted, whether it's understood or not?
So I personally don't feel like I can answer this question from like a genuine point of view. But I have a star celebrity speaker here who wants to answer. Sean Corachado. Come in.
Sean, thank you so much for stepping up and stepping in to be part of this conversation. So let's hear it. Being transgender, is that a need, a want to be understood, or simply just to be accepted, and whether understood or not?
I think like it starts with the base level of just being accepted, because a lot of times like there's so many things that we don't understand and that is new to some people, and so sometimes saying like, I don't understand it but I accept it, and just feeling that kind of like sense of acceptance.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times like it is new, and I know like at least for my journey, like I didn't understand a lot of the changes that were happening, and a lot of times like I did hear that a lot, like I don't understand it, but it's not, not to sound any kind of way, but it's not for anyone else to understand really, but just having that sense of like acceptance and belonging, that is really what's key. And being honest, like I don't know that I would have had the courage to fully live like my authentic self if it wasn't for Caly, because she's someone who just accepted me and was just like loving from the start. And like how she said, it was like, oh, we're starting this journey. All right, we're doing it. Like, how do I help? So that was great to have. Thank you.
Yeah, no fear into it, just.
Yeah, no, that is awesome. And but yeah, I mean, so it's such an important thing, just like this, that feeling of acceptance. Like I think people sometimes are like, well, I don't know how to do it, I don't know how to, and it's like, you don't have to understand. You don't have, like, that's not your place necessarily, it's just like to be present, to accept, which, as you mentioned, Caly does beautifully on so many different levels. And so the thing of it is this, is that love from a partner is different, of course, than love from a parent. And oftentimes young people feel the need to choose one or the other, especially when it comes to LGBTQ community. So love to hear, let's start with you, Caly. In your case, right? Caly, you were loved by your parents, regardless, right? No matter how you were, where you were loved regardless. In fact, your parents also loved Sam, Sean as well. Like from the beginning and to now, with your partner and your parents, you've experienced truly unconditional love. How important to you was your parents' acceptance in all of this?
It was just so important, everything. I mean, from the very beginning, my mom was extremely happy that I found anyone to just kind of help me and, make me feel loved. That was kind of all it was for her. I mean, I remember she put a Facebook post up like when we first started dating. She was like, my Caly girl, you know, she's finally started dating someone in Los Angeles. And she posted like all the pictures that we had sent her together and everything. And she was just super excited for me. And that was just, I mean, for me, it was just kind of normal because I always had such great support on anything that I wanted to go for in my life from my parents. So I think at the end of the day, like that is kind of the job of a parent, is to unconditionally support the being that you've brought into this world and to, you know, help push them forwards in whatever endeavors they want to go on and not question them. Or I mean, there's certain things that maybe you can question them on, but you know, if it's all love at the end of the day, yes. I think it's important to support your children, and that's all I ever got from my parents. And I mean, even the other day, Sean was like, oh, I'm about to text your parents because I need a little bit of, you know, support in feeling like I should work out, or I forget what it was or whatever. Because he knows that my parents will always be there to like hype you up and like make you feel good and make you feel supported. So for me, it's just always kind of been the norm. And they're like the blueprint parents, I would say, for sure. So if you're a parent listening to this, just support your kid in literally anything, I would say.
That is awesome. You know, Sean, do you want to comment on this, or how your journey was and how your parents?
My parents, it was very hard for them. It was very hard first coming out, especially being raised Mexican Catholic. It was just very tough. And then when they found out about my transition process, I didn't talk to them for about 2 years, or a year and a half with no communication at all. So it was tough, but you know, I think the thing that like brought me so much light was spending Christmas with her parents and spending Christmas and just being like, that was my first Christmas that I felt like I was me. And so I always like look at that. It's like, wow, you know, they just accepted me. And especially in that like beginning stages of the transition, you know, like, you know, going back to the thing, there was no question. It was just like, we're here to support and accept.
I also think that my parents, regardless of what they went through in their childhood and upbringing, they knew that they didn't want to carry on certain patterns and habits, or, you know, just beliefs, ideologies that their parents had kind of pushed on them. And I think that they wanted to totally change that. So many, it's just like the generational trauma thing that's happening. And it's like when you actively see your parents trying to break that, but then you still know, like within yourself, I'm like, I know there's still some things that then I can work on, you know? So it's, you know, we're constantly trying to work through that type of stuff and progress. I think progress and progression is like the biggest word, you know, we're trying to move forward. We're trying to make good changes, it's all love at the end of the day. I keep saying that, but that's really all it is.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that is such a good point. And when you see parents who are saying, okay, this is the way I grew up, but just because this is the way it was for me doesn't mean this is the way it has to be for them. Exactly. And so to make that conscious decision as opposed to just the cookie cutter, like this is the way of it, you know, it's like, no, like, toss the cookie cutters out. Just
exactly,
you know, toss them. You know, so as long as we're talking about love, let's stay on topic, but switch gears to music. Yeah. So making music, I imagine, is like making love with regard to the connection between the singer and their sound. As a recording artist, what is it about making music that you love the most?
What do I love the most? I guess like I love writing lyrics, first of all. And I think like my whole journey with like writing music and creating music it was weird because like when I was younger, I would love to sing and I would love to make up songs and stuff, but I never really knew what I was doing. It was just kind of happening. And then I moved out to Los Angeles and I learned how to actually like write the lyrics, put the melody on the track that like a producer has made, or even, you know, craft my own chords up and, you know, bring that into something. That's how I work personally. But I think my favorite part is the lyrics and the storytelling, and, you know, whether that be I'm watching Stranger Things, whether that be me pulling a story off of Stranger Things and really like diving into that story, kind of making it my own, or, you know, pulling from our relationship. And it's kind of like it's like journaling, or, you know, whatever your outlet is to kind of get your emotions out. For me, that's the part that I love about it. And really focusing on the feelings and emotions behind the songwriting. That's definitely my favorite. And even when it comes to like sitting with the producer and trying to think of sounds to add to the music to, you know, give it more of that, you know, maybe very grimy, like emotional feel, or maybe something that's a little more like you feel like you're kind of floating through the clouds, like whatever that may be. So for me, I think my favorite is just finding ways to like hear the emotion that you're trying to like convey.
Mm-hmm. That is awesome. Well, you do a very good job with that, I will say. You know, from your relationships to your music, Caly, there is a common thread of love that is woven with such authenticity and integrity. For those who are seeking to find and share that kind of love that you've been able to embody, what advice do you have to give?
The most cliche advice I think I'm gonna give is just love yourself first, and everything else will follow that. And I know it's hard sometimes, definitely with social media, and you see so many versions of what you're supposed to be, but at the end of the day, those are still just societal boxes and just like stupid shit. It's just, I'm sorry. But it's just, we are not, sorry. We were not created so uniquely, person to person, to then have to conform and fit in little boxes, you know? So your little quirks, the little things that make you weird, are really just you, and that's how you're supposed to be. So let that shine through, and I think everything else follows that. Yeah. Even I was just even talking to someone, and I was like, I've been thrifting a lot lately. I don't have the biggest budget to shop at the mall right now, but I've been realizing, like, and that was something like thrifting that in my past, when I was like, you know, a teenager, I'd have been like, oh, secondhand, like Goodwill, like no, like I want like Forever 21 clothes. A, our world is dying, so thrifting is awesome. And B, you can be so like unique, whatever you wear, whatever you put on, like there's so much more to pick from all the years, and these clothes have stories, you know, just stuff like that. Those little things, like be yourself, love yourself. That's step one.
And you know what I love about you is that you love this story, not only in things, but in people and in moments. And just thank you so much for being the light that you are, for sharing the love that you do, just by simply being. Thank you.
I think that's the biggest thing, and that's what I want. Like, I have gone through so many different like mottos, what my message is, what I want it to be, and I've literally just landed on, I'm gonna be myself so you can be yourself. Like, that's it, period. You know, like, I think we have too many people trying to convey like, this is, you know, who you should be, or this is who I am, so you should try to be. It's like, no, like, be yourself, dude. It's awesome.
Be yourself. It's awesome. I think that we need those t-shirts. Come on now.
Yes.
Caly, I cannot thank you enough for taking the time to share your story, and for Sean as well, to share, and, you know, just for helping all of us become a bit more aware now. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries. And I love these conversations every time I talk to you. So thank you so much.
You are so welcome. Thank you.
Know how to make